another, but it all stems from the same thing. And that's the undermining of manufacturing in Canada, thanks in part to Brian Mulroney with NAFTA and trade agreements that really screwed Canadian companies. Part of the reason that we're here today is cheap, dirty Chinese steel is being dumped on North American, Canadian shores.
What are you going to do about it?
And I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do about it. Okay. You want to come up and join me? We'll have a chat. Because we inherited a mess, as everybody knows. That mess with regard to pensions and benefits is within the courts. We're looking at all of the possibilities that we can do. We'll certainly have to see what the outcome of the court proceedings are, but that's not too distant from right now. People are screaming about the secret deal. If the secret deal was so good for Stelco, for U.S. Steel, why did they go to settle out of court? Because I talked to the guys who made up that deal, and they said, well, we do a lot of these. It's part of, there's confidential parts of it and so on. Even the conservative members that I know say, go ahead, look at the secret deal. So the only issue is, no matter what the judge says, can U.S. Steel sue us if we release a document that they signed with the federal government? Who cares? Because it's going to cost you another few $million to go from Canada to the United States. And I don't want to pay lawyers, and I least of all don't want to pay U.S. Steel. So that's who cares. It's all about money, okay? And none of that $1 million, I would rather go see in pensions and benefits than to lawyers and to U.S. Steel. So nobody's going to get $1 here from knowing what the secret deal is. So what we have to press for, what was the out-of-court settlement? Why did you do that? Like, what was the deal behind that? And this may have something to do with Stephen Harper visiting Obama about a few days before they decided to go ahead with this. Not the secret deal, but the out-of-court settlement. So we have what we have. It's sitting on our plate. There's a lot of people here who will wonder what the Liberals' attitude, our government's attitude, is toward unions. We just changed 2 laws. Bill 377, Bill C5, which was asking the unions to show all the money they're giving to different organizations and their ability to certify workers. The Harper government changed that so it would be harder for unions to certify, and it would be harder for unions to make contributions to political parties. So we instantly, because we could do it, we did do it. We're still, in my maiden speech in the House of Commons last week, I talked about the U.S. Steel lands. Those lands are really part of the answer to the problems that we have. Because a lot of people, even within the City Council of Hamilton, want to put boutiques and coffee shops and canoe rides. Smokestacks, that's terrible. We can't have smokestacks. Oh, I love smokestacks. And those smokestacks create millions and millions of dollars of taxes and wages, and the spin-offs are immense. We have 23,000 people working in manufacturing in Hamilton. We wouldn't have that many, like U.S. National Steel Car and so many others, if we didn't have that basic steel industry. So one of my jobs, and my colleague Philomena Tassi, is to ensure that the government has a powerful understanding, because I talked about this in my maiden speech, of the importance of these basic industries. You can't make a sustainable economy unless you manufacture things. You look at Germany. Germany is one of the most environmentally strong countries in the world. They just built a brand new blast furnace. They got lots of blast furnaces. They make steel and put in those cars and ship them all over. We can make the same steel, but we got screwed by trade deals and dumping, and we have to get to the bottom of that. Now, my understanding is that our government is concerned about that, insists that manufacturing be restored to a place, because when you talk middle class wages are wages you earn making things in manufacturing companies. And look at National Steel Car. It went from 1,000 to 2,500 employees. And that's all $25, $30 or more wages. That's where the middle class will rise again, and that's what we have to do as a government is create the ability for manufacturing companies to thrive. Now here's how stupid U.S. Steel is. They could be making steel right now at their Hamilton plant and selling it worldwide at a 70-cent dollar. You know who is selling steel? At ArcelorMittal Dofasco. They're going flat out. What's U.S. Steel doing? They're dismantling the caster right now. And this is exactly what Labatt's did with the brewery. When I tried to save the brewery, my position was this, and I called Tony Clement and the government, and I said, make them leave the facility so that we can produce beer. No, we can't do that. We can't do that. So one of the things that this government has to look at is to stop companies from destroying manufacturing facilities just because they decided they don't want to work there anymore. They get lots of breaks from the government, they get tax breaks and everything else. So what's their obligation to Canada? Not to destroy the facility. They're afraid that Arcelor might buy that the blast furnace and caster and start competing again. Well, too bad. That's what I want our government to do. It doesn't happen overnight. And by the end of the 4-year term, you'll know whether this is all just blah, blah, blah or not. But for me, it's in my heart because I love the people in this room, because you all work for a living, you raised your families, you paid for everything that we see around us, and we heard that in the speeches today. But don't discount us after 100 days, because we're going to do the right thing for the people in this room and the people across Canada who work for a living to protect their pensions and benefits. I make that commitment to you. Thank you.
Okay, just Tim Dilsher from the UFCW just wants to say a few words to give us some support.